Have you ever been hurt by someone you trusted, someone you never expected to break your heart, your spirit, or your peace? Pain from others can cut deeper than we admit, but staying wounded isn't strength. And getting even isn't healing. In this video, we'll uncover 5 powerful ways to handle people who hurt you, not with anger, but with clarity, strength, and self-respect. When someone hurts you, the natural instinct for many is to suppress the pain. We tell ourselves to be strong, to move on, to not let it show. But what if I told you that real strength doesn't come from hiding your pain? It comes from owning it. There's a subtle lie that society often teaches, that expressing emotional pain is weakness, that if you acknowledge how much something affected you, you're somehow broken or fragile. But the truth is, acknowledging your pain is one of the most courageous things you can do. It takes honesty, it takes vulnerability, and most importantly, it takes self-respect. When someone hurts you through betrayal, neglect, cruelty, or even silence, there's a wound. And like any wound, if you don't treat it, it festers. You might cover it up with distractions, you might smile through it, you might keep yourself so busy that you don't feel it anymore. But deep down, unspoken pain doesn't disappear. It just sinks deeper. And what lives deep inside starts to control your thoughts, your reactions, and even how you see yourself. Suppressing pain often turns into resentment. It becomes an inner tension that spills over in unexpected ways. Snapping at people who didn't hurt you, doubting people who want to love you, or constantly feeling like you're not enough. That's the hidden cost of not dealing with pain. You start to carry the weight of someone else's actions, as if it's your burden to bear. So what should you do instead? Sit with it. Acknowledge the pain. Name it. Say, yes, this hurt me. Yes, this disappointed me. Yes, I expected more. Don't try to explain it away. Don't compare it to someone else's suffering to make it smaller. Your pain is real. It matters, and it deserves attention, not denial. This doesn't mean you dwell in it or let it define you. It means you respect yourself enough to process what happened. You let the emotion come, and then you let it go when it's ready, not when the world tells you to. Healing starts with honesty. When you say the truth out loud, even just to yourself, it loses its power to control you in silence. And here's what's truly powerful. When you learn to acknowledge your own pain, you become more emotionally grounded. You stop pretending. You stop playing roles just to survive. You begin to live in truth, and that truth becomes your foundation. People who own their pain don't become weak, they become wise. They don't become bitter, they become clear. And they don't get stuck in the past, they grow through it. So the next time someone hurts you, don't rush to look strong. Don't try to get over it for the sake of appearances. Look inward. Speak honestly. Let the pain rise. Let it breathe. Then let yourself begin to heal. Not from denial, but from deep self-awareness. Because that's not weakness. That's the beginning of true, unstoppable strength. When someone has hurt you, it's easy to feel like the only way to protect yourself is to shut everyone out. You might think, if I never let anyone get close again, I'll never be hurt again. It sounds logical in the moment, especially when you're dealing with pain, betrayal, or emotional exhaustion. But what often happens is that in trying to shield ourselves, we end up isolating ourselves. We start building walls instead of boundaries. And in doing so, we push away not just the people who hurt us, but also the ones who could have loved us right. There's a difference between being guarded and being wise. A boundary says, I know my limits and I'll protect my peace. A wall says, no one gets in, ever. Boundaries are rooted in self-respect. Walls are built from fear. When you confuse the two, you might feel safe, but it's a lonely kind of safety. You keep people at a distance, not because they've done anything wrong, but because someone else once did. Real boundaries are not punishment. They are choices you make to maintain your emotional and mental health. They are clear, intentional lines that let others know what's okay and what's not. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to justify why you're no longer available to people who once drained you. You just need to know your worth and act accordingly. When someone has disrespected you, hurt you, or repeatedly crossed your lines, it's okay to say, I can't allow this in my life anymore. That isn't rude. That isn't heartless. That's maturity. You're not seeking revenge. You're not trying to make them feel what you felt. You're simply choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion. But here's the tricky part. If you're not careful, pain can make you numb. You start expecting every person to hurt you the same way. You become overly cautious, mistrustful, and closed off. You begin to think that emotional detachment is strength, but emotional detachment isn't healing. It's survival mode. And no one grows in survival mode. You just stay stuck, avoiding deeper connections, avoiding vulnerability, avoiding the very things that make life rich and meaningful. True healing requires you to balance protection with openness. It means you learn from your pain, but you don't let it poison your perspective. Not everyone is out to harm you. Some people will show up with love, respect, and consistency. But you'll never know if you don't allow yourself to be seen. Setting boundaries means you can still love, still connect, still trust. But with wisdom, you stop pouring into empty cups. You stop tolerating what feels heavy, and you start honoring your inner peace like it's sacred, because it is. You don't have to become cold to stay safe. You don't have to isolate to be strong. You just need to know where you end and others begin. That's the power of a boundary. That's how you protect your heart without losing it. When someone hurts you, especially emotionally, it's natural to feel a flood of emotions. Anger, sadness, confusion, or even a desire for revenge. In those moments, you may want to lash out, say something cutting, or do something that makes the other person feel the pain you're carrying. That's the impulse to react quickly, emotionally, and without thought. But the truth is, reacting in the heat of the moment rarely leads to resolution or peace. More often, it adds fuel to a fire that's already burning. There is a powerful difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is immediate, it's emotional, it's raw and unfiltered. It's what we do when our defenses are up and our judgment is clouded. It gives power to the other person because it allows their actions to dictate your behavior. Responding, on the other hand, is intentional. It comes after the pause, the moment you take to breathe, reflect, and choose how to handle the situation with clarity and control. When you respond instead of react, you take back the power that the other person tried to steal with their hurtful behavior. You show emotional intelligence. You are no longer at the mercy of your feelings. You are mastering them. That doesn't mean you suppress how you feel or pretend it doesn't matter. It means you allow yourself to feel it, but you don't let the emotion speak on your behalf. You speak with wisdom, not just boom. Emotional control isn't about being cold or detached. It's about preserving your dignity and not giving someone else the ability to dictate your inner state. When you react emotionally, you're letting their behavior pull you out of alignment with who you are. You become a mirror of their chaos. But when you respond with thoughtfulness, you hold onto your center. You become the calm in the storm. Think about how much regret comes from reacting too quickly, the words we can't take back, the actions that escalate conflict, the damage that lingers long after the moment has passed. Learning to respond instead of react isn't just about protecting your relationships, it's about protecting your own peace of mind. Taking a step back doesn't mean you're weak or passive. It means you're wise enough to know that not every emotion deserves a reaction. Sometimes silence is a response. Sometimes walking away is a response. Sometimes a calm but firm word carries more strength than shouting ever could. In the end, the goal is not to win the argument or prove your point at all costs. The goal is to stay true to yourself, to be the kind of person who doesn't allow pain to turn them into someone they are not proud of. Choosing to respond instead of react is one of the highest forms of self-respect. It says, I value my peace more than your chaos. And that mindset doesn't just protect you, it empowers you. There comes a point when the best way to protect your peace is to create distance. When someone continually hurts you, disrespects your boundaries, or drains your emotional energy, staying close to them often does more harm than good. Yet many people hesitate to take that step back. They fear that distancing themselves might look like they're giving up, being cold, or trying to punish the other person. But walking away isn't always about punishment. It can be about preservation. It's not about ego. It's about self-respect. Choosing to distance yourself is a deeply personal and powerful act. It means you've recognized that your mental and emotional well-being matter. It means you've stopped waiting for someone else to value you enough to change. Instead, you've chosen to value yourself enough to create space where healing can actually happen. It's a sign that you're no longer trying to fix something that's only breaking you in the process. It's easy to confuse attachment with loyalty. Just because you've known someone for a long time or care about them deeply doesn't mean you owe them unlimited access to your life. Time and connection are not excuses for tolerating disrespect or emotional harm. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and even for the other person is to step away. Creating distance doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't require a long speech, a public declaration, or a final confrontation. Sometimes it's quiet. It's in the way you stop over-explaining yourself. It's in the way you stop showing up where you're not appreciated. It's in the way you reclaim your time and your energy without apology. You don't need to slam the door. Just stop knocking on one that's already been closed on you more than once. And the truth is, healing rarely happens in the same environment where the hurt took place. You need space to gain perspective. You need clarity that only comes when you step back from the noise. Distance gives you the chance to reconnect with yourself, to hear your own thoughts without outside influence, and to remember what you deserve. There is a kind of peace that only comes when you remove yourself from situations that make you question your worth, when you stop trying to explain your value to people who keep failing to see it. You free yourself from emotional captivity. That's not weakness. You're not distancing to teach them a lesson. You're doing it because you finally learned yours. You've realized that some connections are better loved from afar, and that not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Letting go, creating space, moving on. These aren't signs of failure, they're signs of growth. At the end of the day, your peace is your responsibility. No one else will guard it for you. If someone's presence is costing you your stability, your joy, or your self-worth, then creating distance is not only allowed, it's necessary. Pain has a way of demanding our attention. When someone hurts you deeply, it can feel like your entire world narrows to that one moment, that one betrayal, that one wound. It's easy to get stuck there, replaying it over and over, wondering why it happened or how someone you cared about could cause you so much pain. But here's the truth why you can't always control who hurts you or how it happens. You can absolutely choose what you do with that pain. And one of the most powerful things you can do is use it as fuel for growth. Every experience, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones, carries a lesson. They hold up a mirror showing us where we need to grow stronger, clearer, and wiser. When you shift your perspective from why did this happen to me to what can I learn from this, you reclaim your power. The hurt becomes something you rise from, not something you drown in. Think about it like this. Pain is a signal. It's pointing you towards something. Maybe it's showing you a boundary you didn't know you needed. Maybe it's revealing a pattern in your relationships that needs to change. Maybe it's teaching you how to stand up for yourself, how to trust your instincts, or how to stop tolerating things that don't align with your worth. That pain, as much as it stings, can be your turning point, if you let it be. But using pain as fuel doesn't mean pretending you're okay when you're not. It doesn't mean skipping over the hurt just to get to the lesson. It means honoring the process. Feeling every emotion, letting it be messy, and then gradually choosing to rise. Not in spite of the pain, but because of it. There's something incredibly empowering about transforming what was meant to break you into the very thing that builds you. People who hurt you may have intended to leave a scar, but that scar doesn't have to be ugly or shameful. It can be a symbol of your strength, a reminder of what you survived, proof that you didn't just go through something, you grew through it. Pain can either harden you or sharpen you. The difference is in what you choose to do with it. You can let it close your heart, make you bitter, keep you guarded. Or you can let it open your eyes, make you wiser, more discerning, more intentional about who and what you allow into your life. This isn't about revenge. It's not about proving anything to the people who hurt you. It's about evolving for yourself. Every painful experience is a piece of your story, but it doesn't have to define the whole story. It can be a chapter of strength, clarity, and resilience. So take the pain and don't just carry it, transform it. Turn it into purpose. Let it shape the version of you that no longer settles, no longer stays silent, and no longer forgets their own power. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood concepts when it comes to healing from emotional pain. Many people believe that forgiving someone means excusing what they did, welcoming them back into your life, or pretending like the hurt never happened. But that's not what true forgiveness is. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's not a gift for the person who hurt you. It's freedom for yourself. When someone wounds you, it's natural to hold on to the pain. You think about what they did. You replay the moment. You imagine all the things you wish you had said. Sometimes you even hold on to the anger because it feels like letting go would mean they got away with it. But the truth is, the longer you hold on to that anger, the more you keep yourself tied to the pain. It becomes a chain around your spirit, weighing you down long after the person is gone. Forgiveness doesn't mean you're saying what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you have to trust the person again. It doesn't mean you have to forget. What it means is that you are choosing not to let their actions continue to control your life. You are refusing to let the wound define your future. You are taking the power back by deciding that your peace matters more than your pride or your pain. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It corrodes your joy, your focus, your energy. You start living in a state of emotional captivity, replaying scenes from the past in a loop that never ends. And the worst part is that while you're stuck in that cycle, the person who hurt you may not even be thinking about it. They've moved on, and you're still holding the weight. Forgiveness is about cutting that cord. It's saying, I'm done carrying this pain. It doesn't require reconciliation. It doesn't require you to tell the other person anything. It's a quiet, internal shift where you release the grip the pain has on your heart. And when you do that, you create space for healing, for peace, for joy. The process of forgiveness isn't always quick or easy. It's a decision you may have to make more than once. Some days, the hurt will rise again, and you'll have to remind yourself, I've let this go. And that's okay. Healing isn't linear. But each time you choose release over resentment, you grow stronger. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it breaks its power over your future. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. It's a declaration that you are more than what was done to you. You are not your wounds. You are not the pain they caused. You are the person who rose beyond it, who refused to let it define you, and who chose peace over poison. And that kind of strength is unshakable. You know, life has this way of handing us moments we never asked for. People come into our lives, some lift us up and some leave wounds we never saw coming, and when you're hurt, really hurt, it changes you. At first you want to scream, you want to make sense of it, you want to know why, but eventually you reach a point where you stop chasing explanations and start choosing peace. It's not about pretending it didn't happen. It's about refusing to let it keep happening inside you. Because holding on to pain doesn't protect you. It only keeps you locked in a story that no longer serves you. So maybe it's time to stop hiding the hurt and start healing from it. Time to set boundaries, not to shut people out, but to let yourself breathe. Time to pause before reacting and respond like someone who knows their worth. Time to stop returning to places that keep reopening the wound. Time to take that pain and turn it into something purposeful. And time to forgive, not because they deserve